Hi, this is Bill Howatt, COVID-19 mental health with the Conference Board of Canada. I'm still here doing my thing in my social isolation. I know some of us are moving into week two, and some of us that are in essential services are still doing things. And sadly, some of us are losing their job or being furloughed. And today, what I want to do is talk a little bit about a tough challenge and a tough topic is job loss. There is no set of instructions, whether it's pandemic or non-pandemic. Losing a job can feel traumatic and it can be overwhelming, it can be stressful. After doing this for about 30 years working with people, one of the things I've learned is about having a plan. This is by no means going to be the conversation today is about counseling or financial advice. My goal today is to give you some ideas to help folks who have perhaps lost their job or a family member who lost their job, some tips and things to think about. It's natural to feel overwhelmed and it's natural to be unsure. And in this uncertain time, what does this all mean? So let's talk about things specifically that are within our control that can kind of help us start to move through this challenging time. And number one is the first tip is to be clear that once you're being furloughed and et cetera, is get your paperwork in order. Don't procrastinate. Go get your EI, employment insurance application in immediately. There'll be all kinds of backlog, I'm sure, and all kinds of complexities in getting it done. I know the government will be doing the best they can, so don't procrastinate on that one. Get that moving. Make sure whatever you qualify for, you're bridging. You know what your period of time is. You can get some additional insurance support, and and how long this pandemic is going to be is there's going to be all kinds of conjecture whether the economy will be starting up and pressure and all of this will happen. You can't focus too much and start trying to fill in too many blanks. This is a very agile time, and there'll be all kinds of conversations about it. Focus on day by day and start making plans with the information you can. So, first thing you do is get your EI. Second thing is to get clarity. Employers that are furloughing people or laying people off, some will be giving some clarity of what this means. I might be saying for 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks. Some may be saying, your job has been dismissed and we're not sure when or if we'll be able to bring you back. Getting clarity can also help you start to realize what options you have in regards to near term after this. So if you know that your EI can get you through from A to B and a period of time hopefully will work out, I'm assuming that the government will be doing their best to extending and helping people all stay viable as much as we can over this period of time. This is unprecedented, and I'm sure lots of really caring, smart people are thinking about the economy now and how to actually pull this together. Second thing, though, is get clarity from your employer what this means to you. Be connected. We talk about social connections now, start to be connected. This unfortunate time for some people could be a blessing in disguise. What I mean by that is some people may be in jobs where they've kind of felt trapped, didn't really enjoy it, was a paycheck. And this might give them an opportunity to sit back over the next couple of weeks and rethink their career and where they want to be. Because there's a beginning and middle end. This will pass eventually. If you really enjoy where you're at and excited to go back to your employer and looking for that, that's fine. But it's a point in time to start talking to people about options and opportunities and start doing a little bit of dreaming about what you want to use the time that you have. It doesn't all have to be fear and angst. It could be starting to think about what you want to do, maybe courses, education, career paths, by thinking about your options. And that could happen through connecting with different people. Um, it's important to be focused on where you could be going, what you can do, because really all I'm going to be talking about is what's inside your control. It's important to understand that this situation is something that your employer didn't ask for, you didn't ask for, no one's asked for this. So it's not a thing about placing blame or stress. This is a thing about what can we do individually. Your employers will be doing what they can to stay viable if they had to furlough and let people off. And that gets to the next point where it'll be prudent for you to make a financial plan to ensure that your discretionary cash, you're starting to think about your options and what bills you need to have and your forecast of how you can manage your cash flow. Lots of us don't sit down and create financial plans. It's a great idea now to go think about your plans, start thinking about what bills you can delay, how you can start to actually work with families and friends and partners to pool your resources to be able to get through this time. The next step is to, if finances are a concern and you have a mortgage or you have a credit card, is to communicate with your bank to find out what programs and options are available. It's because some are going to be extending credit and there's different programs. I'm not in the banking business, but I've done some reading and I know there's different programs that they're looking at. So communicate with your bank, be proactive and see what they say. The next tip is pause. Again, kind of hinting around that connection part. Sit back and make a plan with your family and get more than one point of view in this. And sit down and have conversations. Slow it down a bit. Say, okay, what does this mean to us? Of course, the fear of paying bills and your future and all that kind of stuff. But emotions, you can't think. When you get caught in your emotional brain, all we can do is worry. And that worrying is not going to help you. It's sitting down, talking, pausing. What do we want as a family? What are our options? More the old expression, one head, two heads are better than one head is so true. Get some people involved in this conversation. Next one is release tension. If after you lose your job, your stress is overwhelming, and you're losing sleep, and you're emotionally really scared and upset, we need to get your parasympathetic nervous system down, your PNS, and we want to get that down by burning off some of those corticotropics, by some exercise, paying attention to your diet. Same thing is because it's like we do with first responders of being exposed to trauma. Before we'll do sometimes critical debriefing, we'll want to diffuse and want to get their physiology down so we can start to actually think. And the key about reducing all your angst is to help your mind be able to make some good decisions. It's okay if you're overwhelmed, and that goes to the next point, is to talk. If you're struggling, talk. Be okay to talk with people about your concerns, talk about your fears, talk about what you're worried about. It's okay to start talking with other people. And it's okay actually to start using anonymous peer support websites like a Big White Wall, your EAP if there were some provisions left over, different online tools. If you're thinking about trying to, that there's no hope or anything, you ever have any suicidal thinking, it's really important. I'm going to talk about suicide another time, but this is a time where people can feel kind of hopeless. And as Anderson Cooper says, hope is by itself is not a plan. You need to have a plan to have hope. So my warning to all of us is that if you're over here and you're worried and stressed and those type of ideas jump in your head, there's suicide lines with lots of people. I will tell you, after 30 years of doing this, just because you don't know the answer right now doesn't mean there's not an answer. I've worked with thousands of people that have been overwhelmed, and if we get them calm, we get support, we can move them over. So here's really my key point for you today to consider. Job loss is real. It's traumatic. There is no whitewashing it. There's no way to make this sound easier for you. If you're struggling and you feel overwhelmed, there's help out there. However, what the thing you can do for yourself is to really start to focus on what's within inside your circle of control, and that's your action. So hopefully today gave you a couple ideas. We will get through this. It's a hard time for many of us, but let's talk about it and work together and support each other, and we'll see the other side of this. So hang in there, keep up, support each other, care for each other. People who are close to you, continue to let them know that you're there for them, and we'll all get through this one day at a time, one day at a time. Hi, Bill Howatt here. Hopefully you're finding these videos of some value. If you'd like to share these, on the lower right of your video, there's a icon you can click. You can send it through your social media feeds. Join the Conference Board of Canada social media feed so we can keep you up to date. And if you have ideas, suggestions, please leave your comments so we can consider them. If you have things that you'd like us to speak to or talk to, I certainly will try to do all I can to help out. So with that, have a wonderful day.